So we've talked a little bit about the ritual object, the Kila, the peg, three-sided peg in Tibetan called a Purba. Now, we talked about it as a ritual object, as a handheld attribute, physical, used by teachers and practitioners of Tantric Buddhism. And then we've also talked about it as a hand attribute of various deities. But we also have a kind of a category of deity where the lower half of their body is also in the shape of this Kila, this three-sided peg. Now, we have to say that the Kila as we know it really in Tibetan Buddhism, we're really thinking comes from Vajra Kila, from the deity, the Nyingma deity, 3 faces, 6 arms. The first pair of arms held at the heart are actually holding this peg. But also the peg does come from India, and we do have it in relation to laying out of a mandala, securing the directions and the boundaries of the mandala and using pegs for that, these Kila or Purba pegs. So we have these two kinds of origins, and then we have a little bit of a controversy over whether or not Vajrakilaya is actually from India or kind of created in Tibet. Not a discussion for the present time. What we're talking about is the different deities that have the Kila lower body. Now, within the mandala of Vajrakila, then there are some deities within that mandala can have the lower body of a Kila, and in some traditions of Vajrakila, his lower body can, rather than having 4 legs, which is what is typical, he can have the Kila, the peg body. But we also have other deities. We have a protector deity, Panjara Mahakala or Panjarnata Mahakala. He's a main category of Mahakala, and we have a number of different forms of him. Usually it's different configurations of deities around, but there also can be some differences in the hand postures. But there is a form of Panjara Mahakala where his lower body is a Kila, and this also comes from the early Nyingma and comes from Guru Rinpoche. Both the earliest Vajrakila and the Panjara Mahakala are both carried on in the Sakya tradition and are the earliest forms of deities with this Kila bottom really within Buddhism. The Panjara Mahakala we mostly find in art in the Jonang tradition. The Jonang tradition has taken on the Panjara Mahakala as one of their special kind of inner protector deities. Okay, then we have a number of Nyingma deities. We have Guru Drakpur, which is also Drukpakagyu, a form of Guru Trakpo, a wrathful form of Padmasambhava. And in the Guru Trakpur, or Drakpo Purba form, he has, again, the lower body is a Purba. Then we have 2 forms of Hayagriva, black and red. Now, the black definitely is coming out of the Nyingma tradition. Now, the red form, it's possible that we have some red forms coming out of the Sarma as well as the Nyingma traditions that have the Kila as a lower body. Now, for female deities, we have the Simhamukha. The Simhamukha, of course, originally comes from Bodhilotsawa, comes out of India, and it's related to the Chakrasamvara cycle of Tantras. Later on, it was adopted by Nyangral Nima Oser, and it was turned into a Nyingma practice. But also, it was very much practiced within the Bodong tradition. Bodong is a Sakya-related tradition, and there were a number of pure vision Daknang experiences, and then we end up with a number of different Simhamukha practices with the lower body is that of the Kila. Then within the Nyingma and the Drikung Kagyu tradition, we have a Rakta Yamari, 3 faces, 6 arms with lower body Akila. We have we have another form, a more modern Nyingma Yamari form, lower body of Kila. Then we have a Dingo Kensei Terma form with multiple heads, multiple arms. So we really have a lot of different figures that can have this this Purba, this Kila, this three-sided or three-bladed peg that are associated with deities. Now, the ones mentioned up till now are actually the Buddhist deities, but we also have the Purba Drukse Chempa, and this belongs to the Bun religion, and this is a very early form of Purba as well. And within the Bun religion, I believe they have three different traditions. They have really an early Shangshung tradition. Then they have a Gyagar. They have an Indian tradition, and then they have really a tradition that comes out of Bhutan. So they really have these three different traditions of Purba Drukse Chempa, and this figure also has a lower body as that of this peg, this three-bladed, three-sided peg. So these are just the main ones that I've been able to find, but also with some of these deities mentioned, they will have retinue figures within a mandala structure where their lower body is also in the shape of a peg. So there can also be many secondary figures with this Purba lower body as well.